always swore he'd have his revenge on me.
Put my dad down.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Puffin Movie Review, the spot where we light up, sit back, and dive deep into some of our favorite films and series, and be checking out the behind the scenes. If you've been enjoying the content, or if this is your first time hanging out with us, do me a massive favor. Hit that subscribe button, and give this video a like. We are pushing hard to hit that 1,000 subscriber milestone, and every single one of you makes a huge difference. Today we are taking a trip back to the behind the scenes on a 2005 to look at a live-action Disney classic that honestly hits entirely different when you're a little elevated. We're talking about Sci-Fi. Let's set the scene and break down the beginning of this wild ride, and let me know in the comments if you want a recap of this movie.
Not without dropping him in a vat of toxic waste.
Where will we even find a vat of
Steve!
Let's break down the production, the wild casting choices, and how this thing eventually became a massive cult classic.
Welcome to behind the scenes of the film Sci-Fi.
The whole concept of a high school for the kids of superheroes was originally dreamed up by a screenwriter named Paul Hernandez, all the way back in the 1990s. Disney sat on the script for a long time, until they found the perfect writers to breathe some life into it. They tapped Bob Schooley and Mark McCorkle, who were right in the middle of working on the first and second seasons of their hit animated show, Kim Possible. Disney loved the way they wrote teenage dialogue, and it completely shows in the final product. Just like Kim Possible, they deliberately wrote Sci-Hi to have this dual-layered appeal, funny and bright enough for kids, but with enough sharp wit and satire to keep the adults entertained too. When it came time to shoot, they didn't build a giant floating fortress from scratch. If you look at the exterior shots of the actual school campus, you're actually looking at the Oviatt Library at California State University in Northridge, which they filmed back in late 2004 with a ton of digital enhancements.
He'd have his revenge on me.
Put my dad down.
The director, Mike Mitchell, went into this project with a very specific stylized vision. He made heavy use of Dutch angles, which are those deliberately tilted, crooked camera shots meant to give everything a comic book, slightly off-balance feel. Mitchell famously stated that the entire movie operates on two golden rules. The adults are all completely insane. The girls are significantly smarter than the boys. If you look at how the characters are written, the adult superheroes are total airheaded caricatures, while the teenage girls are the ones who are consistently assertive, powerful, and keeping the plot moving forward. The trailer isolation rule. Mitchell also dropped a hilarious piece of inside info about dealing with the young cast. He revealed that all the teenage actors had their own strictly separated trailers and were generally kept apart during down periods. Why? Because the production team was terrified that the kids would start dating in week 2, break up by week 4, and make the rest of the shooting schedule an absolute awkward nightmare. The casting itself was a brilliant mix. You had established young actors like Michael Angarano and Mary Elizabeth Winstead carrying the weight, alongside total newcomers. Danielle Panabaker was barely known at the time, and Stephen Strait, who played the brooding fire starter Warren Peace, actually booked the legendary role on the very first acting audition of his entire life. To fill out the staff, they packed the background with comedy heavyweights like Kevin McDonald and Dave Foley. For Mitchell, who is a massive sci-fi nerd, getting to direct this movie meant he got to hang out with a Mount Rushmore of his personal heroes: Linda Carter Wonder Woman, Kurt Russell Snake Plissken, Bruce Campbell Ash Williams, and Cloris Leachman from Young Frankenstein.
That's how I go. I flow. My name is Zach. I get the girls, but let's keep it like that.
When Sci-Hi hit theaters in the summer of 2005, it didn't exactly explode into a massive billion-dollar franchise, but it put up incredibly respectable numbers. Metric details: scores production budget $35 million, a domestic box office $64 million, international box office $22 million, total worldwide gross $86 million, Rotten Tomatoes rating 74% positive, consensus Metacritic score 62, generally favorable cinema score A. The initial reviews were solid. Variety praised it for perfectly blending superhero parodies with classic high school movie tropes, and the BBC noted that its tongue-in-cheek style made it way more engaging than a lot of the totally serious superhero blockbusters that were coming out around that time. But where Sky High really found its stride was in the years after it left theaters. It developed a massive, fiercely loyal cult following. People realized that the movie was entirely ahead of its time. It came out right before the massive Marvel and DC cinematic boom completely took over Hollywood, and looking back at it now, its post-modern, self-aware approach to comic book tropes feels sharper and funnier than ever. Because the movie didn't break records at the box office, Disney unfortunately pulled the plug on a lot of massive expansion plans. Director Mike Mitchell later revealed that they had originally planned an entire franchise. There was a sequel in early development called Save U, short for Save University, which would have followed Will and the gang graduating from high school and heading off to a superhero college. They were even planning a spin-off television series, and almost the entire main cast minus Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston had actually signed on the dotted line to reprise their roles. A couple of years back, Mitchell admitted he'd still love to revisit the world. But since Disney went ahead and bought Marvel, the studio pretty much views Marvel as their sole superhero output. He even joked that he'd love to just pitch a Sky High-style project directly to Kevin Feige to set it inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that is the full behind-the-scenes story on how a shelved script turned into one of the most nostalgic, ahead-of-its-time superhero comedies of the 2000s. And that is pretty much the story of Sky High, a movie that honestly had no business being as good, as funny, or as completely ahead of its time as it turned out to be. It is wild to think about what a college years sequel like Save You could have looked like, but hey, maybe it's for the best that this remains a perfectly preserved, untouched capsule of mid-2000s nostalgia. But I want to hear from you. Did you grow up catching this one on Disney Channel, or are you just rediscovering it now? And more importantly, if you rolled up to that floating campus today, do you think you're landing in a hero track, or are you getting sorted into sidekick support with the rest of us? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, and let's talk about it. If you enjoyed hanging out and diving into some movie history today, do me a huge favor, and hit that like button. It helps out the channel more than you know. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting subscribe. We are pushing incredibly hard right now to hit that 1,000 subscriber milestone, and every single one of you joining the community genuinely means the world. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, keep it completely chill, and I will see you right here for the next review.